So back in the day during the marketing for Transformers, in my script I wrote back in 2014 during Age of Extinction, but I just found out that this toy actually released in 2018, but there's a sticker on my box that says 2014, which I think is a single pack manufacturer label, so that must mean that this one was shipped by itself, not on a skid, and that's why it's got the sticker on the back of the box. It's all thing. The point is, this toy released in 2017, 2018-ish. I mean, the box is 2018, but the marketing was 2017 for this toy. It's very confusing. Yeah, it's confusing. But back in 2014, during Age of Extinction, loads of toys were being revealed, from that one photo of the first edition Leader Prime taken on an assembly line to the Toy Fair reveals showing how Hasbro was handling the previous year's complaints of overcomplicating their toys from parents, because a lot of parents complained about that. Age of Extinction was a very weird time for Hasbro. They had just moved factories around that time. They went for a more simplified conversion strategy for their toys to make them a little easier for kids. The plastics changed, it kind of got worse, to keep the toys at the same price as previous years, and they were trying something new with the exclusives and all that. Some of those exclusives were that previously mentioned first edition Leader Prime, which, if you haven't figured out, I want so badly. Like, it's my current Hasbro holy grail right now. Like, you have Grails, which is the thing that you want, and you will get eventually, and then you have Holy Grails, which is the thing that your collection does not feel complete without. Like, you have to have one of those. And for me right now, it is first edition Leader Optimus from Age of Extinction. I have to get one of those, and I am trying right now. Those Toys R Us 2-packs with the robots and minicons, they were also exclusive things, and the Toys R Us box sets, like the Autobots United pack, which is another pack I want to get. And then the China-only exclusives, that being this, JD Red Knight. Although it released in 2018, I don't understand. JD.com, not sponsored, is a China-only retailer, kind of like Amazon in the sense that it sells a lot of things ranging from fishing reels to mixers to toys to wine, which funny enough is what pops up when you type in JD Red Knight. It's just a bunch of red wine. So yeah, this is an official toy from Hasbro and Takara, and character-wise, he's just a dude who helps the Autobots when they need it. And yes, it's a retool of Age of Extinction Voyager Galvatron, and no one really likes that mold much. The new tooling from the Galvatron version is the torso and the head, and honestly, this mold works very well for this design, I think. More than Galvatron. Galvatron's body shape was very different on film than it was on toy form, and the mold didn't capture his build. He looks like someone who worked out a lot, and the mold doesn't really help that look at all. But for this character, I think it works very well. Obviously, the mold still carries those Galvatron issues, but the colors, man, this Ferrari red and like the jet black complement each other very well. It's such a banger of a color scheme, and I adore the way it turned out on this guy. The color separation works incredibly well in robot mode, with all the colors being placed in appropriate ways to keep the bot from looking bland, which is more than I can say for the truck mode, but we'll get to that later. And all the tooling, like the new stuff, all that sculpted detail, it looks amazing. There's a lot to look at on this guy, especially the torso and the neck. The arms look great as well, and the legs are pretty good, but here's where the mold issues start. The Galvatron mold is notorious for having weirdly long and oddly positioned legs. The knees are way too high up because of those wheels on the back. The hips are at such an odd angle they could technically be considered just a Y joint, and I hate Y joints. The thigh swivels can also be like weird to use. The legs are just an odd affair in general. It's very strange. But the main thing that everyone talks about when this mold is brought up is the backpack, and it's pretty bad. The whole front of the, like, not even the front, the whole entire front section of the truck is just crumpled up on the back, just chilling. It's a big eyesore, and it is very lazy in ways of like engineering its transformation and stuff. However, look at how this man transforms in the film. For 20 bucks at the time, there was no way in hell they were going to easily pull that off. So while this is bad, and I will say it is bad design, the designers were in a very tough spot trying to make this thing, and it like only cost $20. And the only company to get it right so far is Unique Toys. After making it MPM scaled and charging $200+, they were able to figure out a transformation. So I can kind of like understand and give leeway to the whole, there is the entire truck just sitting on his back, but at the end of the day, the entire truck is sitting on the back of his, like, on his back. It's a lot. It's an eyesore. Doesn't look nice at all. He also doesn't come with any form of accessory, so that's a bit of a shame. I was expecting this to be shorter too when I got it in hand, but that's due to the normal size Voyagers now being shorter and Kingdom Cyclonus, who's the only one that's like absolutely frigging massive. But it's actually pretty tall next to most modern things. Like here's a couple leader class toys of the modern day, and it's almost the same size. It's like a millimeter shorter. It also feels very good in hand. Nothing feels loose on this guy. Yet it's yet another solid figure I've picked up this year, and I'm really happy with that. But that's probably mostly due to all the joints actually being ratchets. That feels a little unnecessary, but for an Age of Extinction toy, I'm happy that that was the case, because a lot of the Age of Extinction toys that didn't have that suffered very heavily from loose joints. Speaking of the joints, posing isn't great. He has all the basic points of articulation, however the kibble, like I said, just gets in the way of how you can position all those joints. The legs make getting him into any pose kind of hard as well because of where the knees are put. The arms, though, do have a lot of range going forward, and the double jointed elbows are quite nice, and the ratchets are also nice and tight too, which makes them great to handle. Transformation is a lot of just folding out the back of the truck and putting him inside it. There isn't much in the way of transformation on this guy, and that's a bit unfortunate. Plus, my feet don't want to tab in, so that's annoying. But the conversion overall, it's easy. It's just, it's nothing to write home about. It's nothing special. It doesn't do anything fun or fantastic or interesting. You just fold his arms up, tuck him into a box, and plug his feet together. Yeah, that's it. And the truck mode is also very bland. Like, the front looks great. I love the silver and the black and the grill actually being a grill. They sculpted in little gaps in there so you can see through the grill, like on an actual vehicle. I love that little detail. I love how they decided to do that. But once you look at it from the side and the back, it needed more black back here. Like, the wheel arches, like if they were black, that would have been great. And it looks like they are painted red, so it might be black underneath. I don't know, but I don't want to scratch it off because this is an exclusive. It's a tall truck mode though, so that's neat. I love the way it scales with modern day trucks and some of the older figures, because this truck is very tall in real life, so it works quite well. Like, the Freightliner Argosy is massive in real life. It's huge. I mean, what else is there to say about this truck mode? It's just kind of bland, but it looks cool next to like anything else, but it doesn't stand out. That red makes it stand out, but the truck, with the lack of detailing and paint on it, that's what makes it look like a knockoff to a lot of people. Even though this is an official product, it looks like a knockoff the way that there's like hardly any paint on it. There isn't a real big need for me to recommend this either, because it's a very obscure exclusive I found on Sir Toys, and like hardly anyone has heard of it. Like, I talked to one of my buddies about this and he'd never heard of it before, and now he bought one because he has heard of it. But he couldn't find it for a decent, he had to get it for like $80, but still, it's neat to have. Like, I'm happy I own it. I've always wanted one, and out of curiosity and obscurity, and I have it now, and I'm very happy with that. I did see this going for about $130 US on eBay at the time of writing the script, and that's too much to pay for this thing. I'd say that's way too much. Plus, they're all gone now at the time of me recording the audio, so they're completely gone. I paid around $50 for this, and like I said, my buddy paid around $80. And I'd say $80 would probably be the max you would want to pay for this. It's also kind of, like I said, it's rare. It's hard to find. The best places I can think of to look for it would either be eBay sometimes, and maybe Buy if you know how to use Buy, but that's a bit hit or miss too, so it's a very hard to find figure. But if you can find one, I definitely recommend picking it up if it's a good price. But do you need one? Well, that depends on whether you want something rare and obscure or not. I know a lot of people collect based on characters that appeared in media or characters that fit into a display, and he doesn't really fit into anything unless you have a rare collection. So it's very hard for me to recommend this. It is. I honestly like it, but it has a lot of problems. So there's that. If Unique Toys did a JD Red Knight, like exclusive, I don't know, Shozy or whatever version of Nero, I would hands down buy that, because that would be hilarious. But yeah, that's been my look at JD Red Knight. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.